Hadirin mohon terus berdiri untuk nyanyian lagu negaraku. Yang amat berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim, Perdana Menteri. Yang berhormat Datuk Teknologis Mustafa bin Samud, Timbalan Menteri Pendidikan Tinggi. Yang berbahagia Datuk Dr. Anisi bin Ibrahim, Ketua Setiausaha Kementerian Pendidikan Tinggi. Yang berbahagia Profesor Tan Sri Datuk Wira Dr. Muhammad Syukri bin Abdul Yajid, Presiden dan Pengasas Management and Science University. Yang berbahagia Profesor Puan Sri Datuk Dr. Junaina binti Abdul Hamid, Naib Canselor Management and Science University, Pengurusan Tertinggi Kementerian dan Jabatan Pendidikan Tinggi, MSU dan Institusi Pendidikan Tinggi Swasta, mahasiswa IPTS seterusnya. Yang berbahagia Tan Sri, Datuk Sri, Datuk Profesor, Dr. Tuan-puan yang saya hormati sekalian. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera.
And good afternoon. My name is Anita Zara Weinheimer.
And I am Sharul Azwan Hamzah.
And on behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to wish selamat datang and welcome to Temu Anwar IPTS at Management and Science University, MSU. We are truly honoured to have Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim, the Prime Minister, with us. Among such a diverse and distinguished group of academics and professionals joining us today. Your presence here not only enriches our discussions, but also strengthens the bonds of cooperation and understanding across borders. We look forward to the exchange of ideas, experiences and innovations that this program will undoubtedly foster as far as academic excellence is concerned. We are delighted to also welcome those online, as today's program is also live streamed to our students across MSU campus, our affiliate MSU colleges across Malaysia, our offshore campuses, as well as at Ministry of Higher Education Facebook account. To begin our session, we respectfully invite Al-Fadil Ustaz Herzali bin Muhammad Hadi to lead the recitation of the opening dua.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wal 'aqibatu lil muttaqin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulina al-amin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma ya Fattah, ya Alim, ya Hakim. Kami memohon kepada-Mu ya Allah agar majlis Temu Anwar IPTS ini berlangsung dalam limpah rahmat dan redha-Mu. Jadikanlah ia sebagai medan ilmu, perkongsian hikmah dan penyatuan hati dalam usaha memperkasakan para mahasiswa kami dari berbagai IPTS seluruh negara. Ya Allah, semaikanlah dalam jiwa para mahasiswa kami nilai kepimpinan yang jujur, akhlak yang luhur, semangat cintakan ilmu, dan azam untuk berbakti kepada agama, bangsa dan negara. Tunjukkanlah kepada mereka jalan kejayaan yang diredai dan kukuhkanlah usaha mereka dalam membina masa depan yang gemilang. Allahumma ja'al qalbana lil ilmi ibadah wa niyyatana salihah wa khutana fi sabilik waftah lana abwab al hikmati wal fahmi. Ya Allah, berkatilah semua institusi pengajian tinggi di negara ini. Jadikanlah ia tempat tumbuhnya ilmu yang bermanfaat, akhlak yang mulia, dan generasi pewaris negara yang beriman dan bertakwa. Rabbana taqabbal minna innaka antas sami'ul alim wa tub 'alaina innaka antat tawwabur rahim. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi washabbihi ajma'in. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Amin ya rabbal alamin.
Thank you, Ustaz Rizali, for the Dewan recitation. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us welcome the President and Founder of Management and Science University, Yang Berbahagia Profesor Tan Sri Datuk Ira Dr. Muhammad Syukri bin Abdul Majid, to deliver his welcoming remarks. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam Malaysia Madani, and a very good afternoon to everyone. Yang amat berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, Perdana Menteri Malaysia. Yang berhormat Datuk Teknologi Mustafa bin Sakmud, Timbalan Menteri Pendidikan Tinggi. Yang bahagia Datuk Dr. Anisi Ibrahim, Ketua Setiausaha Kementerian Pendidikan Tinggi. Yang berbahagia Profesor Puan Sri Datuk Dr. Junaina Abdul Hamid, Vice Canselor of MSU, para pengurusan tertinggi Kementerian Pendidikan Tinggi, Jabatan Pendidikan Tinggi, Management and Science University, dan institusi pendidikan tinggi swasta yang lain, rakan-rakan media, mahasiswa-mahasiswa APTS, pelajar-pelajar MSU, seterusnya yang bahagia Tan Sri, Datuk-Datuk, Profesor, Doktor, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang saya hormati sekalian. Pertamanya saya ingin mengaturkan syukur kepada Allah SWT kerana dengan izinnya dapat kita bersama-sama dalam majlis yang amat bermakna kepada saya, amat bermakna kepada MSU, dan saya percaya juga amat bermakna kepada semua pelajar-pelajar APTS yang hadir pada hari ini, iaitu program Temu Anwar APTS. Bagi pihak MSU dan semua pelajar APTS yang hadir pada hari ini, kami ingin mengalu-alukan kehadiran yang amat berhormat Perdana Menteri ke kampus MSU dan ke program Temu Anwar pada petang ini. Welcome Ya Amat Muhammad Datuk Sri. Welcome to our university. Welcome to the program of IPTS. And we are so glad that you be able to be here in our campus. And big applause to Ya Amat Muhammad Datuk Sri Perdana Menteri. Saya juga ingin mengambil kesempatan pada petang ini juga untuk mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri kerana telah memilih MSU sebagai tuan rumah host untuk program Temu Anwar APTS yang julung-julung kali diadakan untuk sektor APTS, dan ianya juga kita merasa gembira kerana inilah pertama kali program Temu Anwar dengan APTS dilaksana di kampus kita di MSU. Thank you very much Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri. Saya juga ingin mengambil kesempatan ini juga untuk mengucapkan ucapan terima kasih dan penghargaan kepada Kementerian Pendidikan Tinggi Malaysia, khususnya Yang Berhormat Menteri Pengajian Tinggi, Yang Berhormat Timbalan Menteri Pengajian Tinggi, Yang Bahagia Datuk PSU serta pengurusan KPT di atas peluang dan kepercayaan yang diberikan kepada MSU untuk terlibat secara langsung dan berkolaborasi dengan Majlis Hawar Pelajar APTS dan Yayasan Perkasa Siswa. Terima kasih KPT. Dalam masa sama juga saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih kepada semua rakan-rakan pimpinan APTS yang lain dan semua pelajar-pelajar APTS yang lain yang turut hadir bersama-sama dalam program kita ini di dalam Canselor Hall MSU pada petang ini. Seterusnya, saya juga ingin mengucapkan ucapan terima kasih saya kepada semua, tak lain dan tak bukan, kepada semua pelajar-pelajar MSU dan APTS yang hadir pada hari ini. I know that about 4,000 of you, today is your day to be with our beloved Prime Minister. It's not just about our university, but we are talking about all the IPTS in our country, inshallah. And the same manner also, we have students coming from our MSU colleges also through online, because we have our colleges throughout Malaysia, from Sabah, Sarawak to Penang. And the same manner also, we have students also listening and joining our Temu Anwar IPTS pada hari ini from our offshore campuses di luar negara. Because we have several offshore campuses di luar negara, and they also joining our program as well for this afternoon. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang saya hormati sekalian, saya rasa terharu dan merasa berterima kasih kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri, kerana saya kira program ini amat bermakna dengan hasrat kita untuk membina universiti dan IPTS di negara kita. Saya faham bahawa aspirasi program ini adalah hasil cetusan idea Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri yang bertujuan untuk mendapatkan idea baru serta input terkini pada perspektif golongan muda dan pelajar institusi pengajian tinggi mengenai usaha kerajaan madani untuk membangunkan negara ini. Ia juga pasti akan menjadi satu platform untuk pelajar-pelajar berkongsi dan mengutarakan pandangan mereka. Dan ianya lebih bermakna pada hari ini kerana bagi saya, selama ini kita selalu merindukan Temu Anwar. Tetapi Temu Anwar tidak pernah diadakan di IPTS. Sebab itu saya sangat gembira dan saya rasa ini satu milestone yang terbaik dalam program ini, kerana kita semua maklum bahawa IPTS, enrollment di IPTS about nearly half of the enrollment of higher education di Malaysia. Dan kerana itu bagi saya, segmen IPTS amat penting sekali. Dan kita juga ingin membantu untuk memberi pandangan dan gagasan kita supaya idea-idea kita juga selaras dengan idea-idea Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri sebagai gagasan yang inklusif, gagasan yang terangkum, gagasan yang juga menjadi yang lebih baik dan dinamis untuk a better Malaysia for the future. Jadi hari ini saya rasa peluang terbesar kepada semua pelajar-pelajar IPTS untuk berkongsi idea dengan Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri kita, kerana saya percaya bahawa his vision for the country is superb and excellent. He is looking forward to build our country. Dengan gagasan Malaysia Madani, sudah pasti idea dan pandangan dari semua pelajar-pelajar IPTS akan diambil kira. I'm sure they are so very, very important for the future. In the same manner, I'm also talking to our international students. In the same manner, we're also talking about huge number of foreign students also in IPTS. If I can say about our university, in our university, we have students coming from 73 nationalities. And I'm expecting in 2 years' time, we are reaching 100 nationalities. And this is also become a backbone of how we can portray the perspective and way that about Malaysian higher education. And I'm sure this is very much in line with the transformative agenda of Malaysia higher education framework, which is going to be something that we can be proud of for the future. Jadi dengan itu saya berharap program pada hari ini akan memberikan makna yang lebih kepada semua pelajar-pelajar IPTS bahawa Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri concern and recognize all of you to be here today. Once again, to Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, your presence here today reflects the global recognition of universities as important hubs for transformation, as important hubs for talent building and innovation, it sends a strong message that we, the students and the campus community, plays essential roles in transformative journey towards progressive harmony and prosperous Malaysia. Akhir kata, sekali lagi, saya bagi pihak manajemen instansi universiti, saya ingin merakamkan ucapan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan dan terima kasih kepada Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, Perdana Menteri Malaysia, di atas kunjungan beliau ke kampus MSU pada hari ini. Ucapan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan dan terima kasih juga ditujukan kepada Kementerian Pendidikan Tinggi Malaysia serta pelbagai pihak di atas segala komitmen dan sokongan berterusan yang telah diberikan untuk memastikan kelancaran program, dan semoga perjalanan permufakatan dan kerjasama strategi ini dapat diteruskan dan diperluaskan lagi pada masa akan datang. Sekian, terima kasih. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Yang Berbahagia Professor Kansri, for the warm words. Ladies and gentlemen, we now move into the highlights of this afternoon's event, a speech and dialogue session with our guest of honor, Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim, the Prime Minister, either at the rostrum or at the centre stage to deliver his remarks.
Majlis dengan segala hormatnya menjemput Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri untuk memulakan ucapan dan sesi dialog bersama para hadirin sekalian.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dan salam sejahtera. Terima kasih Dr. Shukri, Canselor dan staf, anak-anak dikasih sekalian. Saya ucap penghargaan setingginya khususnya kepada Timbalan Menteri KSU, KPT, kerana membantu menyelenggarakan majlis yang permai pada petang ini. Seperti mana disebut oleh Dr. Shukri, ini adalah acara pertama saya mengadakan dialog langsung Tinggi Anwar dengan mahasiswa dari IPTA. Now, thank you very much. I do appreciate the reception, the enthusiasm of young students, and I intend to be very brief to allow for questions to be raised or views to be expressed. This is essentially a dialogue session. It's not a monologue. I don't come here as an expert to answer or to come and establish some of the profound arguments, particularly in our very challenging times. This morning I called for a special session of Parliament. The special session is to deliberate precisely the issue of the unilateral decision by President Donald Trump of the United States of America, the unilateral decision to impose tariffs that will certainly adversely affect the position of many emerging economies, including many of you here. But our decision in Malaysia and ASEAN in particular is to engage. It's not to be combative. No point in reacting hostile manner, but to engage, have the discussions, and explain our turf. We have already participated in multilateral trade arrangements. You know the history prior to WTO or GATT and now WTO, and that is a multilateral arrangement where you can ensure some manner of order, rule-based trading system that would ensure some form of justice, consideration. And I think we pursue that. We have sent ministers to negotiate with the Trade Commerce Department, and we have to continue to evaluate. There's no finality. As you know, things are still fluid. President Trump has given a 90-day reprieve. Malaysia is a trading nation. We trade with countries in ASEAN, with the United States, with China, with many countries in the world. Our investments from the United States is still number one. Cumulatively, is the highest trading partner. China is becoming a very important player now and a reliable, good neighbor. ASEAN have agreed to enhance our intra-ASEAN trade. Okay, that was discussed this morning, and members of parliament are still continuing their debate, but I cannot reject this wonderful opportunity. So between members of parliament speaking, I've chosen to hear the students today. Now, why do we pay such importance to the younger generation? Because the type of training, the expertise, the capacity to affect change, the willingness to adopt some new disciplines, we have to depend on you. You can't expect people in my generation to be as fast, to assimilate and acquire, and that level of acquisition of knowledge and expertise, particularly the new sciences, new disciplines. We have what we call digitalization, artificial intelligence. Now we are talking about energy transition, which we're not talking about in the last many decades. Now, so we have to depend on you. That's why MSU and many of the private institutions are considered by us in the government as part of our team to give the opportunity and instill that sort of discipline and scholarship among the students. That is our expectation. So acquisition of knowledge is a must. When asked, why are you here? To acquire knowledge, assimilation of knowledge, to learn new sciences, new disciplines, new expertise, to go back and serve. And there comes the fundamental issue that we have to address. One, assimilation of knowledge, acquisition of knowledge, which is critical for your future, your family, your society, your country. But for what? Why do one wish to acquire knowledge? This must be reflected very seriously. And I want to appeal to you, my children, to understand and appreciate this. Acquisition of knowledge to be comfortable in life is not the end. Why do we want to acquire and assimilate knowledge and the sciences? Is to disseminate what is just and what is truth. That is the major challenge. So, notwithstanding the sciences, in the Madani framework, we talk about values, we talk about ethics, we talk about human dignity, we talk about our role to ensure that we have a fair, a just society. And that is the role of the youth. And I think, and this is not new, from the days of Greek philosophy to our sages, religion, Islam, and I believe what is being encouraged in other religions too, is actually to build, to ensure that men and women are people of character, dignity. There is a deficit now because people talk about what is the world, what's happening to the world. We call it post-normal times. What is post-normal times? It's a world of chaos, of contradictions. Some people talk about post-truth. Truth is relative. Justice is relative. You can kill some community and support the other community. You can support some rogues and some dictators and defend it and rationalize your actions. So that is precisely the reason why we go back to the basics, the fundamental issue of why are you here? Yes, acquisition and assimilation of knowledge, but remember, you are not a sacred cow. You are human beings with values and ethics. I use the term sacred cow because this was a brilliant thesis written by Ivan Illich about the difference between education, just purely the acquisition of knowledge, devoid of ethics, morality. We are not training machines. We are training human beings. And therefore, I would like to appeal to you, use your time wisely. We were young once. Our pop stars at that time was different. They were ancient. I think your parents or your grandparents probably remember the Beatles and Elvis Presley and Ricky Nelson and Cliff Richard, etc., etc. You know them? Oh my God. Yeah. Those are great singers those days. Some of my critics even wanted to have the Elvis hairstyle. Fair. The audience, I don't know, in the past decade, probably you have Justin Bieber or somebody. And I will mention now. But it's fair. That's not the issue. But never lose sight of the fundamental values. And this is where I believe that ethics and religion remains to be relevant. I'm not suggesting that you discard or ignore the importance of leaders, political leaders, your professors. No. But you must also understand that there is a trust deficit. During post-normal times, there is a trust deficit. Young, bright students start questioning, why have we lost our values? Why is it that we tend to be racist? When we decide and talk about differences, preach hatred, insult people of other faith based on color or belief, what's wrong with us? So I'm glad to see that, this is a multi-religious, multi-racial institution from diverse beliefs and countries, but work together, because finally you want this university, you want your institution, you want your disciplinary faculties to succeed, that we must as a team, irrespective of where you come from or what color. You agree with me on that? Yeah. So let me then end with that. My philosophical thesis, what I believe should be education. Because we are educating men. Remember? It's not what Ivan Illich said. We are not educating cows. And men and women is characterized, differentiated because of their character, their values, and their respect for human dignity. Arigatou gozaimasu. Shah, Roman Andre. Okay, kamsahamnida. Okay, now if you don't mind, I'm going to take over the floor. If you dare challenge, please do. Now, so that you are free to ask any question, and I'll try and answer them. Okay, please. No protocol, no need to say, Right Honorable Prime Minister, no. You want to call me Uncle Anwar? Fair. All right. Yes. Ada mic kan? Ada mic tak? Right? No question. Thank you very much. Yes. Yes.
Good afternoon, Yang Amat Rahmat Kasih. My name is Jen. I'm the President of Student Representative Council of MSU. Thusly, your journey from student leader to national leadership is really inspired me. So I want to say thank you for your presence on our campus today. So, young people nowadays, especially from private institutions, often feel left out of national decision making. So my question is, how can we, as a student from private institution, play a role in shaping Malaysia's future? And also, what is the action that government will take to involve all the voices of young people in the process?
Okay, that's good. And what do you suggest? What should we do? No, Joanne, analysis is a very relevant question. Number one, she said, I was a student leader. Yeah, I don't believe it. Because when I was young, I was a student leader, I said, we must represent the conscience of the majority. We must fight for justice and truth. We must condemn corruption and abuse of power. That was when I was young. Now, and the next question from Joanne said, what should the government do? I'm saying, so why don't you give a suggestion? I tell you, Joanne, if it's a brilliant suggestion, I will put it on record and I will implement it immediately. Yes. What do you think I should do, or the government should do, or what else to bring you into the mainstream discussions, whatever? Yes.
Because I'm one of the members of NBK currently, represent the IPTS. So maybe we can strengthen our voices in NBK also, because as for now, it's not all the members of IPTS is involved in NBK.
Yes. Not Ministry of Education. We will take action so that they can accommodate the IPT has been left out. Point number one, agree. Okay. Other questions? Yes, belakang, yeah. Behind, yes. Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, yes.
Yang amat berhormat Datuk Sri. I'm Vishnu from University Tenaga Nasional. Today I have a question regarding the tariffs. So, as I know...
Tariff?
Yeah.
You ask President Trump, why ask him? Carry on.
It's a fair move, but Datuk Sri, I would like to ask, from a student coming from B40 background, as a student leader and also as a youth representing this nation, how it's gonna impact us, these tariffs, and boleh ke saya bahasa Melayu sikit?
Boleh.
Okay,
Tamil boleh kunyu-kunyu.
Sebagai cadangan untuk tarif ni, apa kata syarikat-syarikat di Malaysia boleh joint venture dengan company-company di US sebagai langkah kita award tarif ni, if it can be implemented. Itu satu. Yang kedua, apa kata kita gunakan tarif ni sebagai peluang untuk menggunakan barang buatan Malaysia, semangat menggunakan barang buatan Malaysia. Itu sahaja saya.
Good question, Vishnu. Nombor Nandri. Now, you see, there is an economic political philosopher, Schumpeter. he traces or he traced experience of countries during tribulations or economic crisis. And he used this phrase, gale of creative destruction. A period when there were issues, problems, world wars, deflation, or now tariff. So you either become pessimistic or virtually helpless, or you create something new. There's somewhat the old order seemingly destroyed or half destroyed or crack. That's why I say gale of creative destruction. Use destruction to be more creative. Now you suggested something smart. What? Then try and use our local expertise. Okay? President Trump said no solar energy should be exported to America because there are Chinese companies based here. But there are other companies. So that's why our instruction is all schools, universities, hospitals use Malaysian-made solar panels. Okay. That's one, which means we can therefore probably mitigate partly the potential problem that we may face. That's what I mean by creative destruction. And then, of course, buy local products as fast as possible. You know, I think whether the question whether you have impact or not is too early to say, because President Trump gave a 90-day reprieve. And what is our largest export to the United States? Semiconductor, chips, E&E, very large. 60% of our products, 140, 130 billion ringgit, exported to the United States. Now, if they decide to say no, nothing from Malaysia, then we may have a problem. But for now, semiconductor, E&E is excluded. Now, say if it is partly included, then we have to take measures how to then promote here. And what we did in the last 2 years since I took over as Prime Minister, in the last 2.5 years, is to open up new markets. I've been traveling. We open up new markets other than India, China, Korea, Japan. Increase trade within ASEAN. Increase our relations with other countries. In, for example, Egypt, somewhat new. In the last 2 years, we increased trade investment by 34%. It was a huge country. At the end of the month of May, ASEAN, here in Kuala Lumpur, we will organize a conference. All leaders of ASEAN with the GCC countries, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Oman. You see, and plus China. This is a special session. We've been engaging with the United States. We are now fast-tracking the agreement, FTA, free trade agreement, with EU, European Union. From last month, we managed to export our palm oil and their products to UK with no tariff, because we have signed FTA with the United Kingdom. President Xi Jinping was here last 2 weeks, and we have serious discussions. We had about 36 or 38 new arrangements, MOUs signed from all areas and fields. So we have to be fast, quick, efficient, and smart. We tap the best brains and deal with this issue. I agree with you. We should not. Yes, do we anticipate some problems? Yes. The IMF World Growth Outlook for the last month has been quite concerning, because all countries, including the United States, will have a downward growth trajectory. So it may impact Malaysia a little. But then we should drive. That's what I use the term domestic economic resilience. Our guys have to work hard. You want to survive? You want to condemn our nation, or what is your choice? Your choice to survive, we have to work harder. From the Prime Minister to the ministers, to the rector, the Vice Chancellor, to the officers and the students. We work hard and we challenge any attempt to disrupt them. Okay? And if we do that continuously, I think we may be able to survive. But otherwise, domestic policy is important. What have we done? I mean, I started with this issue of governance, tata kelola, good governance. I know some people hate it, but we don't have a choice. Malaysia is not a poor country, but you know, billions have been squandered. You want to become rich, become a prime minister. Yeah. You want to be a billionaire, be a finance minister. But this is wrong. Why do I choose, at least now, 2.5 years, not to take a salary as a prime minister? I do take a salary as a member of parliament. I mean, just to give a message, convey a message. Not every prime minister or leader must squander wealth and cheat and become super rich because of that position. We must stop this nonsense and we must give a clear message. And follow proper tender procedures. And where is it necessarily popular? No. Because sometimes we take action, those are also billionaires. They will use your resources to go and attack you. They use the social media, they use parties, they use NGOs, they use civil society to abuse and attack you. You must have this courage of conviction and tenacity of purpose and belief in what you are doing, and inshallah we will succeed. Alright? Now next question. Yeah. Yes. No, sorry. Then next. Yes. Belakang dia. With the big beard, yes.
Dato' Sri boleh?
Ya, boleh. Mana? Yang ada mic, jalan. Yes.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera dan salam Malaysia Madani. Nama diberi Ahmad Izhad Hamzin Faza Anwar. Saya merupakan tahun 2 kejuruteraan petroleum dan saya mewakili Presiden Student Representative Council University Teknologi Petronas DTP. Jadi Datuk Sri, saya telah mengikuti perjalanan Datuk Sri daripada kecil dan saya lihat Datuk Sri banyak telah berinteraksi rapat dengan banyak tokoh-tokoh moden Islam seperti Dr. Ismail Al-Faruqi dan sebagainya, yang mana tokoh-tokoh ini sangat menekankan peranan ilmu, kepimpinan dan juga demokrasi dalam pembinaan tamadun. Dan saya percaya perkara ini terserlah daripada usaha Datuk Sri dalam membina Malaysia yang disebut sebagai Malaysia Madani. Dan dalam konteks ini juga Datuk Sri juga pernah memimpin APIN. Dan bagaimana dalam era konteks digital sekarang ini, bagaimana Datuk Sri melihat kesinambungan nilai-nilai ini dalam membentuk mahasiswa yang bukan sahaja berpendidikan tinggi dan berilmu, tapi berjiwa bangsa dan boleh memberikan peranan tinggi dalam membina negara bangsa. Dan izin juga saya selit satu cadangan kepada Malaysia Madani, yang mana saya rasakan perkara ini juga merupakan suara-suara mahasiswa. Sebab apa sekarang ini kita lihat kita sudah pun ada inisiatif Fly Siswa yang mana memudahkan pelajar-pelajar dan mahasiswa di Sabah dan juga Sarawak untuk pulang ke rumah masing-masing. Dan cadangan saya sekarang ini agar kelas siswa ini juga turut diperluaskan sebagai transiswa, yang mana turut juga melibatkan pengangkutan darat, air dan sebagainya, terutamanya kami pelajar-pelajar di Semenanjung dan Sri. Dan saya dengan rendah ini, saya mohon ihsan daripada kerajaan Malaysia ini untuk mempertimbangkan cadangan ini. Itu saja, terima kasih.
Naik lori kan naik bas. Dia kata di Semenanjung itu sampan daripada Kelang ke Gurau. I will have to do it in bilingual because many of you foreign students need me to respond in English. Yeah. Ataupun boleh saya jawab bahasa Melayu, semua faham? Anyone who are not able conversant in bahasa? Oh, I remember. Your fault. Why didn't you learn bahasa? Alright, saya akan respon dulu dalam bahasa, kemudian saya akan samakan dalam bahasa Inggris. Nah, anyway, terima kasih. Nampak ikuti. Ismail Faruqi itu merupakan sarjana yang memberikan penekanan khusus kepada apa yang dia sebut sebagai malai suatu umat dalam dunia yang penuh pancaroba kegelapan kerana kedangkalan ilmu, termasuk Islam sendiri. Dalam ilmu sehingga tidak dapat mencapai kejayaan kerana ketandusan pemikiran. Tidak ada keupayaan menerima disiplin baru dan tunduk kepada sistem asing. Tidak ada upaya untuk membina apa yang disebut sebagai kekuatan asli. Jadi beliau kemudian menggagaskan Institut Pemikiran Islam Antarabangsa yang saya juga turut menjadi salah seorang pengasasnya. Masa saya amat muda sekali. Dan dari ini kita cuba juga tekankan tatkala saya Habib, yaitu menekankan keperluan pencerahan, kesedaran, tumpuan kepada ilmu yang pelbagai. Ada orang salah faham, dia kata ini hanya pendekatan dengan sahaja Islam terbuat, tak semestinya. Semasa saya muda, karya yang besar seperti Frans Fanon, The Wretched of the Earth, dan juga umpamanya karya-karya oleh Iqbal, bukan saja Asrar Khudi, Javid Nama, tapi the reconstruction of religious thought Islam. Kemudian Malik bin Nabi, pemikir Algeria, yang bercakap soal kolonosability, maknanya orang merdeka, negara sudah merdeka, intelektualnya hebat, tetapi pemikirannya itu pemikiran terjajah. Dia tidak mampu berfikir luar daripada kerangka pemikiran yang terjajah. Dan ini juga kita dapat lihat kesan di negara kita, di negara. Dia cakap itu semuanya dari teks dan pemikiran yang dirangka oleh orang asing. Kalau ada baik, yang benar, ya, tetapi jangan kita perangkap. Nah, ini yang juga dikupas oleh Profesor Hussein Alatas. Beliau disebut captive mind, minda yang terperangkap. Bicara soal ekonomi, bicara soal pembangunan, bicara soal pendidikan, mesti acuannya acuan barat, tidak ada yang lain. Nah, ini besar. Baik. Jadi sebab itu perlu pendidikan, pencerahan, penguasaan ilmu. Tapi kalau penguasaan ilmu dengan sikap yang penuh dengan kebencian, tak setuju dia terus kafir, munafik, dan bangkitkan kebencian, tak ke mana. Dia mesti bawa pendedahan dan ilmu ini dengan apa yang ditekankan dalam prinsip agama kita. Apa dia? Bil hikmah wal mau'izatil hasanah wajadilhum billati hiya ahsan. Dengan bijaksana, dengan perkataan yang baik, dengan menarik orang, bukan dengan menanam kebencian dan hukum. Baru belajar Islam 2 bulan terus dia pun ikut hukum orang. Ini problem. Jadi sebab itu saya kata percaraan yang itu penting. They were saying that the necessity to acquire knowledge, as I said in the beginning, is not to be enslaved. Enslavement does not mean that you are slaves or you are the colonial subjects, but your trend, scheme of thought is so captive to the others. You don't have the capacity to think anew, to reflect independently. And that's what I referred to our great sociologist, Hussein Alatas, when he talked about, when he referred to the captive mind in development studies. You talk about development must be a Western concept notion, sometimes completely irrelevant. Our societies differ. Level of understanding, development is different. A peculiar problem of the Dayak heartland, the Ibans, and the Malay remote villages, and the estate, the Indian estate workers, or the Chinese squatters are different but be handled wisely. That's what I refer to, the need to rethink, reflect intelligently and yet independently, and not to be subjected to a particular prescription suggested by others. This also has relevance to the understanding of Islam. Why is it Islam, which is a religion that promotes ihsan, compassion, and rahmatan lil alamin, sometimes understood in a very competitive, rancorous, vicious manner, full of distrust and hatred and divisiveness? There is apparent contradiction. So it is our duty, therefore, not to be subjected by these so-called scholars, but to have this sort of readiness, capacity to learn and have that wisdom, the acquisition to acquire knowledge. And he made reference to one great scholar of the past, Ismail Faruqi. Then he, of course, after all that comes there, why not fly his sword? Is it flies his sword and then you talk about sampan? No, I'm joking. I will discuss this with the Minister of Transport. Ayo, susah. Nak bagaimana yang nak perlu bantuan ni? You kata, what about people Semenanjung? Why do we give some preference to Sabah Sarawak? It's expensive. Particularly during this festive period. And some of these flights are just atrocious. So, we chose, therefore, to support them, at least to deal part of their problems. Now, what you are saying is now, Anwar, as Prime Minister, you want to be loved and appreciated by the young, then please allow them to go back home without having to pay anything. Ayo, kalau balik. Where am I going to get the money to do this? But if there are specific areas where we can help, we will do, okay? I can promise you one thing, inshallah, we'll look at it. What we need to do is to make sure that the price is reasonable. People don't exploit and extort at time. A price, for example, should be 20 ringgit, they come before Hari Raya, it becomes 40 ringgit. It doesn't make sense. So I think that sort of regulations may be introduced to curtail this exorbitant increase. Alright? Boleh? Not to happy dancer. Nobody wants to clap. What to do? Yes. Yes.
Yes. Datuk Sri.
Ya.
Di atas.
Okey, di atas dulu. Okey.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam Malaysia Badani dan salam WIA UNIKL. Bila Datuk Sri, nama saya Muhammad Anas bin Ishaq selaku Presiden UNIKL Student Representative Council 2025. Berakab juga Presiden UNIKL Malaysian Institute of Marine Engineering Technology yang bertempat di London. Bila Datuk Sri, seperti yang mana kita boleh lihat, sekarang terdapat banyak pergolakan kuasa yang berlaku di serata dunia. Namun apa yang ingin saya perincikan adalah lebih kepada perubahan ekonomi yang mungkin sekarang kita lihat berubah daripada barat ke negara Asia. Jadi mungkin apakah perancangan daripada pihak kerajaan Datuk Seri sendiri untuk memastikan Malaysia sentiasa berada di tempat yang sentiasa dipandang dan tidak dipinggirkan sebagai mungkin negara kecil namun sentiasa berhati besar. Kemudian Datuk Seri, yang kedua, jika kita ingin meletakkan Malaysia sebagai sebuah negara yang sudah tentu hebat, apakah ciri-ciri yang mungkin Datuk Seri sendiri lihat yang perlu ada di setiap jiwa belia yang berada di Malaysia ini? Kerana pada hemat saya sendiri, untuk melahirkan seorang pemimpin ataupun belia yang produktif, kita perlu berikan mungkin sedikit pendedahan kepada belia ini. Kerana apa yang saya lihat, adanya program fellow perdana yang berikan pendedahan daripada Kementerian Perpaduan sendiri kepada pihak menteri. Namun sekiranya insentif ini turut diberikan kepada pelajar-pelajar juga ataupun belia yang berada di Malaysia sekarang, saya pasti dan percaya bahawa pendedahan yang mungkin sedikit boleh memberikan impak yang tinggi kepada pelajar-pelajar ini untuk terus memaju Malaysia sebagai negara yang unggul di masa akan datang. Itu saja dari saya.
Pertama soalan bahawa kalau dulunya kuasa besar ketenteraan dan ekonomi itu hanya di barat, mulanya United Kingdom, sekarang Amerika. Tapi sekarang apa keadaan berubah juga dengan perkembangan negara China khususnya. Bagi kita itu suatu perkembangan positif. Malaysia ambil pendekatan seperti mana yang diterima oleh negara-negara ASEAN yang kita sebut keadaan pertengahan, centrality, untuk mengadakan hubungan yang baik dengan semua negara. Dan tentunya kalau tanya negara China itu jiran dan kerjasama yang baik dalam banyak bidang. Itu tidak menghalang kita untuk terus meningkatkan kerjasama itu. Ya. Dan itu pendekatan kita sekarang. Jadi sebab itu sudah lihat, sementara hubungan tradisional kita dengan Amerika dari segi perdagangan dan pelaburan itu tinggi, kita juga memberi penekanan yang sangat kuat kepada negara China dalam berbagai bidang. Apalagi bila pimpinan negara China itu lebih dekat dengan kita. Umpamanya, ya, bulan lalu Presiden Xi Jinping ada di sini. Akhir Mei, Premier Li Qiang akan bersama dengan pemimpin negara Teluk, GCC dan ASEAN. Jadi dia ambil sikap yang sangat lunak dengan kita. Jadi kita sebagai tamu, tuan rumah, tentunya menerima baik. Jadi kita harus adakan strategi itu, perluaskan dagang dan pelaburan dalam negara-negara lain. Kemudian belia bagaimana yang kita harus pupuk. Seperti yang saya sebut tadi, mestilah menimba ilmu secukupnya, membaca seluasnya, menilai dengan sabar dan bijak. Tidak pantas menghukum dan menghina orang. Malaysia ini negara berbagai kaum, berbagai agama. Islam tetap agama persekutuan. Orang Melayu Bumi-Putera tetap majoriti. Dasar-dasar yang termaktub dalam perlembagaan itu kita tetap pertahankan. Tetapi ini bukan alasan untuk kita melihat orang dengan penuh syakwa sangka dan kebencian. Saya lihat kadang-kadang bila dapat laporan daripada media sosial, dengan orang cuba menakutkan, melampau. Ini saya anggap satu tahap yang akan merusakkan kita. Dan saya lebih kesal kalau di antara penyokong-penyokong itu di kalangan orang yang terpelajar. Jadi saya tanya, kamu belajar apa? Profesor kamu anjur apa? Kamu baca buku mana? Mengapa kamu pertahankan kejahilan? Mengapa kamu memuliakan orang yang merendahkan akal budi dan menghina manusia? Itu mesti dijawab. Jadi kita mesti angkat anak-anak muda yang punya daya tahan mental yang kuat dan cinta bernegara. Dengan nilai, betul saya kata nilai penting. Dalam madang ini nilai sangat penting. Ya, semua orang mau membangun. Ya, saya selalu sebut dalam bidang pendidikan menggapai langit. Disiplin baru, AI, digital, ya, canggih semua. Tapi jangan lupa, mesti mengakar ke bumi. Ya, menggapai langit, tapi mengakar ke bumi. Apa yang di bumi itu? Nilai, budaya, akidah, akhlak. Jadi keduanya dirangkul. Itu menyebabkan kita itu walaqad karramna bani Adam. Barulah bangkit keramah insaniah. Okay? Now, tentang fellow perdana dan kemudahan itu kita sedang bincang. Tidak semua akan jadi fellow perdana, tapi kita akan bincang supaya dapat pendedahan dalam program latihan di mana kita ada peluang menemui sarjana daripada pelbagai disiplin, pemimpin, menteri, menteri, ya. Dan ini akan sedang diuruskan melalui akademi kenegaraan dan lain-lain. Now, short summary in English. The question relates to the shift now in terms of power, geopolitical development between the West or the East, United States or China. We take a position of what we call centrality in Malaysia, in ASEAN. We engage with all, we befriend all countries, we trade, it's an open trade, it's a trading nation. But if you, next question is, cumulatively, as I've said, United States is still #1 in the investor trade with Malaysia. But our relation with China is very close, because it is a neighbor. Secondly, the position that I think you've taken by the Chinese leadership is not condescending. It has been very friendly and very engaging. And we therefore, as a country, do show our profound appreciation towards them. Then, the next question is about youth. What do you need? What do you expect from youth? I said, #1, you have to acquire knowledge, you have to be patient. I mean, I can understand you have strong views. When I was young, was I patient? Well, not so. But you must represent some ideals. As I said, we represent the conscious majority. We know, we try and find out what is right. We do not condone excesses or corruption. Corruption can be corruption in terms of acquisition of wealth in an illegal manner. Corruption with the mind can be preaching hatred, insulting people, casting aspersions against people of different color or race. That to me is not acceptable. No, the young must then learn to accept the fact, if you want to succeed as a nation, we have to be more inclusive. We have to succeed as a nation, we have to instill the correct values. What is human dignity? What is just? What is fair? When some people say, oh, we have to be fair, we have to grant or accept those who have been relatively very successful, based on purely merit. I say, yeah, fair, that's partly true, but is that the whole truth? John Rawls, the economic, political economist, said what? What is justice? Justice is fairness. You can't say the best school in the country in Kuala Lumpur and want to compete with the school in KPT and Ulu Kelantan. I say, no, merit. There is rationale to defend merit. but it has to be fair. I have to view differently. You have the best school, the best equipment, the best teachers, the best tuition, and you want us to be fair and say just and compete with the most remote, the poorest. The poor, you will increase the gap between the rich and the poor if you do not cater for what is termed as fairness. That's why affirmative action is necessary. Now, last question on Kaido Perdana, a scheme to help to expose the students to some facilities, and we will try to do it through some training programs. There were, I think, 100 people raising their hands. I will probably ask briefly 3 questions and answer. What? Yes.
Hello, sir. Good evening, the most honorable Dato' Sri Prime Minister. The last we met was in Stadium Melawati, bringing you to a Taekwondo tournament. Okay. Anyway, my name is Vijay Kumar Jaganathan. I'm a part-time student in Master of Program Management program at Open University Malaysia, OEM Shah Alam. And I work full-time in the manufacturing sector. Was working in China for 20 years, and now I'm in Malaysia since 2025. Chosen OEM to start my master's that I left 20 years ago. As someone who both studying and working in project management, I've seen first-hand challenges faced by our industry, especially when it comes to workforce issues. Our sector depends on Okay, the question is, would the government consider reviewing the current policies and foreign work permit extensions and reducing the levy imposed so that we can stay afloat, to stay competitive, and especially in the face of economic recovery? Thank you very much.
You're suggesting that we should bring more foreign workers or less? Huh? Less foreign workers or more? Less, yeah. That's really the policy now. We need for the plantations, for example, but the other sector we have to reduce substantially. And the total reliance on foreign workers will render us less competitive and slow in automation. And people take things easy. And therefore, I agree with you, we will have to do that. We have started actually limiting. For now, no new workers, except to replace the old ones, so for a start. But the problem is we are too rigid, tough, then you can see the palm oil production has stunted because of the lack of workers. Bye.
I'm a visitor. Hello everyone.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
My name is Shah and I'm from Pakistan. And today I'm representing Asia Pacific University. So I'm very glad for having this opportunity. And my question is from Yakda to Siri. With many countries moving away from using US dollars, and I wanted to ask how Malaysia is planning to reduce its reliance on US dollar, and especially in foreign reserves and trade within the regions of ASEAN countries and global south context. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, incidentally, Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif called me yesterday. He's due to visit Malaysia on Friday, but due to the tension between India and Pakistan, he is forced to postpone the visit. So I told him that we wish well, we wish India and Pakistan able to resolve the conflict amicably and maintain peace in the region. We condemn, of course, any form of atrocities and terrorism. We have to find out the root cause and who are responsible. Now, on the issue of the dependence on the dollar will remain a very important currency, no question about it. But the total dependence will be at the price. So what Malaysia has done through what is called a Chiang Mai initiative, is to encourage the use of local currency in our trade. With Thailand, we have used 20% ringgit and baht. With Indonesia, 20% ringgit and rupiah. And with China, Chinese yuan and also ringgit. 20. But 20% China means this is close to 20 billion. Quite substantial, I can't recall offhand. It's huge because you trade with China. So that is an important beginning. But otherwise, we are still stuck to the dependence of the dollar. But we have taken measures. That's why I say domestic resilience is important. Because by through domestic resilience, the dependence on the foreign currency will be less. But alhamdulillah, at least for now, Malaysian currency is about the best in Asia. It's strengthening and it's something of a positive sign. Right? Yeah.
Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, Datuk Sri.
Yeah.
My name is Amelia Shafias and I am currently taking Bachelor in Liberal Arts, focusing on diplomacy and international relations. Recently, I have just finished my internship in the Permanent Mission of Malaysia to the United Nations in New York City. And I am also a proud student of Management and Science University as well.
How long were you in New York?
I was in New York for a year.
Wow!
And it was proud of me. I was proud to represent Malaysia on the global stage. So alhamdulillah.
Other than the UN, what else do you do?
Basically, I was helping to draft speeches and also help representatives in the youth stage of the United Nations.
Anything interesting you saw in New York?
What?
Anything interesting you saw in New York?
The subway.
Okay, right.
Proceeding to my question, Ya Allah Muhammad, Datuk Sri, it has been 4 years since the 5-point consensus have been introduced in ASEAN. And to this day, the Myanmar crisis is still ongoing. And we must be aware of this. And because of this, now that Malaysia is chairing ASEAN under your leadership, how do you think you will enforce these 5-point consensus in ASEAN to help our brothers and sisters in Myanmar? That is my question to you.
Thank you. Why do you choose to ask me difficult questions? I've not had coffee or tea yet. Anyways, it's an issue close to the hearts of ASEAN. For the first time, since probably a decade, I went to Bangkok, other than the short bilateral meeting with the Prime Minister and also Dr. Thaksin, is also to meet, the first time, Prime Minister, Senior General Maong Lai, of the military junta. And then the following morning, I met the Prime Minister of the National Unity Government. So we met both. But because of the 5-point consensus, I then confined myself to discussing the issue of humanitarian assistance. The earthquake was devastating, and Malaysia has opted to assist. First we sent our SMART team, then there's a field hospital, there's a military field hospital now functioning. I just got a note today that asking me whether they should extend a bit more or not. I said as long as there's ceasefire, we can extend, and they've asked for additional medicine. I said yes, we can help. Malaysia is not a very rich country, but it is our responsibility, to help our friends and neighbors in distress. But we have 2 conditions we have imposed. Both I mentioned to the Prime Minister, Senior General Mawlai, and also Prime Minister of National Unity Government. Number one, observe the ceasefire. Stop the shooting, stop the violence. Both parties. Right. And now we are also trying to engage the third force. Neither with the military government nor with the NDG. Again, stop the ceasefire and make sure that humanitarian aid is not discriminated against any group. Both have agreed. One, ceasefire. Number two, that assistance should cover all. So that's been done. And just now, about 1:30 somewhat, I received a call from President Prabowo Subianto of Indonesia, who happens to be meeting former Prime Minister Hun Sen, the President of the National Assembly of Cambodia, and asking me about the development on Myanmar, and suggesting whether they should pursue. I said, of course, all leaders of ASEAN should go and meet these leaders and give the same message. Number one, ceasefire. Number two, be more inclusive. And humanitarian assistance should cover everybody. Because the sooner they accept these broad parameters under the 5-point consensus, the better is it for ASEAN. That means you bring them in the fold, into the fold of ASEAN. So that's a position. We hope that there may be some. There is, of course, some very positive development as compared to last year, for example. Now we are able to engage with both. In fact, the three parties. And there is ceasefire. The ceasefire is supposed to end 15th of May. I have encouraged them, please extend beyond 15th of May, otherwise our military hospital will pack up and come back. Okay? And inshallah, they will hopefully abide, all parties, but then extend it for another month, and they can stay for another month. Meanwhile, I think I also sought the assistance of both the Thaksin and then now Hun Sen and now President Prabowo to continue to engage, and it becomes like a ASEAN consensus. Right? You want to go on until 6 o'clock today? Or?
Mohon maaf, Datuk Sri. Shall we have the last question for today?
Yeah. Okay. There are last 100 questions.
Datuk Sri.
Yeah.
Sebentar Datuk Sri.
Yes.
Saya Ki dari Multimedia University Sarujaya.
Yes.
Datuk Sri, saya ingin menjualkan ramai anak muda, terutama mahasiswa-mahasiswi yang ingin terlibat dalam proses penyumbangan idea untuk pembangunan negara dan juga mungkin ASEAN, terutamanya Malaysia sebagai pengurusi ASEAN tahun ini. Kami juga berharap kami dapat terlibat dalam proses ini dan untuk memberikan suara-suara kami kepada kerajaan. Saya ingin mencadangkan kepada kerajaan untuk mengadakan sebuah forum atau platform untuk menerima input dan idea dari para mahasiswa, dan kami juga ingin terlibat dalam program-program seperti pengurusian ASEAN tahun ini. Datuk Sri, kami sebagai mahasiswa juga terlibat dengan terjejas dengan kos sara hidup, dan kali ini menyebabkan ada mahasiswa yang terjejas dari kewangan dan mengganggu proses pembelajaran mereka. So itu saya mewakili seluruh mahasiswa untuk mencari kepada pihak yang berhormat untuk pertimbangkan untuk kita mewujudkan bantuan inisiatif pemberian tunai e-dompet atau e-wallet kepada mahasiswa semula, kerana bantuan ini yang diakan begitu baik untuk menurunkan kos sara hidup kami. Saya berharap pihak yang berhormat dapat pertimbangkan cadangan kami. Terima kasih.
Jadi cara yang pertama itu saya minta Kementerian Pendidikan beri ruang bagaimana boleh adakan beberapa kaedah di mana perbincangan dengan wakil-wakil pelajar lebih berkesan. Dan keduanya soal dompet itu kita timbang macam mana boleh tambah. Kita tambah banyak juga bagi itu buku untuk di dompet dan sebagainya. Saya tak boleh fokus sebab you boleh tengah bercakap orang belakang buat gini. Hey, jadi harus kena fokus. Itu orang belakang macam-macam. Okay, last question. Okay, last. Yes. Ya. Siapa nama? Yes. Nabi Mai. Okay, come on.
Terima kasih sangat-sangat yang terhormat Datuk Seri. Nama saya Sarah dan saya merupakan pelajar AI dari APU. Dan hari ini saya ingin menanyakan Datuk Seri, apakah penyumbangan murid-murid seperti saya yang tengah belajar AI boleh buat untuk membantukan dengan kemajuan AI dalam Malaysia?
Sebenarnya tahu AI susah. Salah duduk sebelah saya tak mau turun dah. Okey. Kita telah bagi penekanan tinggi. Kita dah mulakan dengan fakulti AI di UTP dan semua universiti sudah tahu menekankan AI. Dan saya tanya kepada Dr. Syukri kerana MSU juga berikan penekanan yang sama. Jadi bagi saya tentu AI itu sangat kritikal. Ini seperti seolah zaman revolusi industri, mesin, kemudian komputer. Itu dah jadi suatu pergagasan dan keperluan yang sangat besar. Jadi saya usulkan supaya menguasai bidang itu sangat diperlukan dan kita kekurangan puluh ribu juruter dan kepakaran AI. Jadi kalau sudah ada kemahiran, potensinya sangat besar. Saya cadangkan supaya tumpu dan insya Allah ada masa untuk kita serapkan dalam sistem semua dalam negara kita. Itu yang penting untuk AI. Cuma untuk yang AI ini satu hal yang saya nak sebut. Ya. Saya tanya tokoh Satya, Microsoft, Jason, Nvidia. I met them and asked, AI. Sebab AI ini akan memuntahkan ilmu yang masuk dan dia hadam dan curahkan semula. Baik. Jadi bagaimana penyelesaiannya? Penyelesaiannya ialah anak-anak kita harus punya keupayaan untuk mampu memasukkan ilmu ataupun apps supaya mampu bila muntah itu muntah dengan pahaman kita. And this, interesting enough, is also the response of the top world experts, Jason and Satya, Microsoft, and many others, Ruth of Google. In my exchanges with them, that's what they say. Because right now, the AI has, of course, its expertise and will formulate ideas based on certain values. So it is important for us to master the knowledge and not just follow through, but also ingenious ways to come up with some other solutions based on our values, our history, our culture. So I think a more challenge, not only the technical, scientific expertise, the coding that you're talking about, but is also imbibing with the correct values, history, culture, the arts of our society. So because after all, it is supposed to be an attempt to replace human views or ingenuity. Jadi itulah sebabnya mengapa saya fikir, saya masih percaya itu penting kita berikan keutamaan dalam bidang ini, dan saya minta umpamanya KPT itu menyelaraskan kegiatan ini dan mendapatkan kekuatan sama ada dari universiti awam atau universiti swasta. Satu perubahan yang kita berlaku sekarang ialah kesediaan kita untuk memilih dan mendapat sumbangan yang tidak terikat. Kalau kita kata pendidikan atau research, dia tidak hanya terikat kepada universiti awam. Mana saja yang ada upaya istimewa, sama ada awam atau swasta yang sedia bekerjasama, mereka harus dirangkul dalam satu kekuatan. So my children, thank you very much. It's a wonderful opportunity. You great. I can see hundreds raising their hands, which means you are quite well educated. Because Confucius was asked once, a person who does not know but refuse to ask a question will remain ignorant forever, as opposed to a person who does not know, which means he's ignorant for a short while, ask a question, and if the answer is right, then he is therefore not ignorant anymore of the subject. So you can choose to be permanently ignorant or smart. And I thank you very much. I appreciate, salute you students. I must thank the staff, lecturers and professors. You are fortunate, you have good teachers and professors to be able to encourage you to ask questions and be more courageous. Terima kasih. Thank you very much.
Terima kasih sekali lagi kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri di atas kesudian menyempurnakan sesi soal jawab bersama mahasiswa. Sebagai acara penutup, majlis berbesar hati ingin merakamkan gambar kenang-kenangan bersama Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri dan semua yang hadir pada hari ini. Semua hadirin mohon berdiri dan memenuhi ruang tengah kapel merah.
For all audiences in the hall, please rise for a group photo session. You may fill in the center aisle of the red carpet.
Dan dipersilakan rakan-rakan media untuk mengambil tempat di atas pentas. Bersedia semua? Rapat-rapatkan diri anda. Cepat. And for those yang di atas Anita, jangan risau, semua akan nampak ya.
Yes, this is a wide angle shot, so for those on the upper levels, yes, you may stand up and be part of the photo as well.
Okay, senyum lebar-lebar. Ready? Okay. Dan buka ruang untuk Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri kita melalui ruangan tengah Dewan.
We kindly request those on the red carpet, please make way for our VVIPs.
Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim kita bersama-sama dengan semua hadirin pada hari ini kita cukup meriah sekali suasana kita.
Yes, the energy that we actually just saw from all the audiences in the hall, definitely incredible today.
Sangat-sangat berbangga daripada pihak majlis ini menjemput Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Yang Berhormat Timbalan Menteri Pendidikan Tinggi, Yang Berbahagia Profesor Tan Sri Presiden dan dikehormat untuk meninggalkan majlis. Apa kata semua hadirin, berikan tepukan sekali kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana